What if I told you that waiting for the perfect Monday to start listening to your body is exactly what is keeping you stuck? And what if the food rules that you think are keeping you safe and are the right things to do are actually making you feel worse? Today, we're talking about why your body doesn't operate in black and white answers and how to start trusting yourself even on a busy, messy Tuesday. Hey, my friends, welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited to get started on the topic today, which is all about food rules. And this is also going to help clear and make a bridge for understanding on where Mindfully Well used to be and where Mindfully Well is evolving to. Although I like to think I didn't have a lot of food rules or wasn't teaching a lot of food rules, but I did give a lot of structure because I knew that that helped you feel safe. But now I know that what I am here to do is to help you feel okay, feeling uncomfortable and not having those exact right answers from me and helping you to find the right answers that are right for you and your unique body and physiology. A couple of life things and other things coming up. Today, I dropped my youngest off for the third grade, and there's all kinds of wonderful emotions that a mother goes through on dropping their child off at school on the first day. And there was a time in my life where it felt very sad, but I cannot tell you how elated I am with relief and joy this morning. Working from home and running a business from home is one thing. Because although I love working from home and being able to be here, I love my home. I love where it is. It's in nature, like all of that, right? But also there's so many things that try to take my attention away from actually working. Whereas if I were to go into an office, I don't really have anything else to do besides work when I'm in my office. But when I'm in my home, there's like so many other things I can do. Maybe I want to do or distracting or asking for my attention. Like, I don't know, a dog puking on the floor. That's happened several times. But also you add in children and that really throws, I don't even want to say a wrench into it. It's just like so distracting. And for me and my energy and my son's energy, we basically kind of repel each other, where he is go, go, go all the time, always needs stimulation, always wants to play, always, he cannot not have something to do, and relies on me to help him with that. And I will say, I mean, this summer was so much better than what last summer was. And last summer I did have help with him. I had a girl come in and hang out with him during the day, a couple days a week, and take him swimming and stuff like that. And this year I did not because I just felt like it wasn't necessary. And actually, it probably made things worse last year having somebody else here with him when he knew I was here. Anyway, I digress. It just made it very hard for me to concentrate, to have solid work hours. I also signed him up for every activity possible to keep him busy and to keep him active because that is what's best for him. But that also meant that I was not at home working and that I was driving my car all over the place. And so I'm glad that summer is a season. I love summer. I love the warmth. I love the freedom of summer. But me, I'm craving that stability and that structure and having my home at peace again and having like I know when he's at school versus a day to day in the summer. I don't know where he's going to be and when he's going to be. So that's my youngest. He's going to be in third grade. No feelings besides pure joy dropping him off this morning. And also, I was thinking yesterday, so I have a third grader, I have a sophomore, and I have a junior. And so the sophomore and junior, like obviously they're a lot more independent. They can get themselves to school. They have jobs. They don't need as much of my attention. But I thought it's such a like I'm embracing this year because I don't have anybody starting anything new this year. Nobody's graduating, nobody's going to a new school. Everyone's just in the middle of wherever season they're in. And that just feels so good. I don't have a year where anybody is fresh, anybody's starting anything brand new. Emotions are very neutral in the school drop off today. And I feel great about that. So let's get, and then before we get into more of the details of the episode today, I want to let you know that the week of September 15th, I'm going to be hosting a 5-day immersion. So it's 5 days of working from diet culture to full body wisdom. And in these 5 days, I'm going to go live on Monday, the 15th, for a workshop where I'm going to actually teach you the things that you need to know to move from diet culture into fully trusting your body. And we're going to work with your hormones. We're going to understand your stress response because those are very important for your body wisdom. And then we will be in community together for the rest of the week. There's going to be challenges and there's going to be ways to win prizes. There's going to be community engagement. I'm going to be in there teaching more throughout the week as well. So you'll have lots of opportunity to implement what I'm teaching you. And then we will also move into enrollment for Mindfully Well after that as well. So make sure to go to the show notes and you can sign up for that, or you can head to Instagram and you can send me a DM that says balance and I will send you the link to register right after that. So the first thing I want to talk about is food rules. What are food rules, right? So many times we think normal eating is actually food rules. We've really gotten those two confused. And there's also no normal eating. It's like whatever is normal for you. So we can't look at somebody and think they're a normal eater and then compare us and say, I'm not a normal eater, because that is taking away the independence and the authority of who we are and how we want to eat and how we want to fuel our body. But food rules help us feel safe because they give us a way to really avoid the pressure of making our own decisions. So I want you to understand the reason why you've always chosen food rules and having certain things that you follow. It's yes or it's no, right foods and wrong foods, staying within certain macros, staying within certain calories, following certain plans that's maybe all Mediterranean or all keto or all carnivore. All of these ways of eating actually help you feel very safe because it takes away the pressure of having to figure it out on your own and having to make those decisions. And what that also does is that doesn't give you the ability or the room or space to understand what your body actually needs. We just override that body with these rules. It feels easier in the moment, but what it's actually doing is it's giving away your authority and your power for wanting to truly live in a body that feels like yours. And in order to have a body that feels like ours, we also have to act in a way that mirrors that. And that means not taking somebody else's rules and applying them to our body and expecting our body to love everything about that. It can feel really hard and kind of incongruent to listen to our bodies because nobody's actually ever taught us how to listen to our bodies. We've been taught to override our bodies to really create the outcomes of the world we live in. So productivity, worthiness, making our body look more acceptable to what our brain has perceived as an ideal body type. Also, no ideal body types. The ideal body type is the body that you live in that feels like yours. This has really tuned us out from our body's actual needs, its communication to us, and our ability to actually feel what our body wants, what our body is telling us. And we are so conditioned to run away from those feelings in our body. I just had a call with a new client this week, and this is an example that happened this week, but it happens every week, to be honest. Is a new woman comes in and she tells me, how it feels to feel stressed in her body. And usually what she's feeling is nothing. And it's because she's completely disassociating herself from her body so she doesn't have to feel what her body is telling her. When women follow those external rules instead of listening to their bodies, like follow this plan, do this, don't do that, what you're really doing is you're avoiding a feeling of failure and of not having the right answers. Because when you tune into yourself and you are learning to understand your body and what it's asking you for, there's a lot of ways to mess that up. And there's a lot of ways to interpret things wrong in the beginning, right? It's like understanding a new language or learning a new language. You're going to mess up. You're going to say things wrong. You're going to interpret words wrong. It's going to take you a while. And if you've never really listened to the language of your body, it's also going to take a while. And you're going to get things wrong. And there's going to be many times of failure. But when you're using somebody's answers for you, like diet rules, and if you fail with those diet rules, one thing that you do is you kind of cushion yourself with that feeling of failure. You might follow these rules and let's say you fail and it's not working for you, you're not doing the things, XYZ. You can blame that plan, right? You can blame the answers that were given to you. And you can find yourself then saying, well, that's not the right plan. I'm going to find a different plan that does work for me. And then what you do is that you stay in what I call indulgent confusion. So indulgent confusion will feel good sometimes. And honestly, it usually feels good because you don't actually have to take any action or risk making another mistake. It gives you a false sense of doing something when you're actually doing nothing. And you stay stuck without any action moving forward and without developing the skill that you actually need to move forward and fail. Failure is a skill. You want to get really good at feeling the discomfort of the feeling of failure. When you get okay with failing, there's nothing in this world you can't have. You will achieve the health that feels authentic to you. You can use this in your career, in your family, in your relationships, with your personal development and growth. There's nothing wrong with failure. Failure is the currency to where you're going. Many times you'll convince yourself that you're going to wait for the perfect time to take action when you're sitting in indulgent confusion, and you're going to wait for everything to line up perfectly and wonderfully, right? So you're going to say things like, I'm going to wait for the kids to go back to school. I'm going to wait for there's no vacations in sight. I'm going to make sure that my work calendar looks nice and clean and there's no projects going on. You name it, I've heard it. You've said it before, right? I need to have a clean slate before I start moving forward. And that also is letting yourself stay in that indulgent confusion because you're confused that there's a right time. There's no right time. What you're doing is you're setting yourself up to eat and perform and listen perfectly to something else so you can avoid that feeling of possible failure again in the future. You're just recreating the same thing over and over again. What this is this is diet conditioning. This is perfectionism conditioning. Our bodies and our nervous systems are conditioned to live in a black and white world with concrete answers. So you'll likely notice if you start paying attention to this that you are usually always seeking the right answer, the right thing. The one thing is missing. In school, we were taught this there was right answers, right behavior, wrong behavior, religion, church, we rules in your household, rules in society, right? We carry all of this conditioning that we were given as children, and we carry this into adulthood because it kept us very safe when we were children, right? Follow the rules, you won't get yelled at, you're a good girl. And then we carry that into adulthood, follow the rules, and you'll be a good girl, you'll get what you need and what you want. And this has also transitioned into our bodies, right? Follow the rules, don't listen to your body, and then you'll get what the world perceives you should be having as health or what your body should look like. And we've completely dismissed that our bodies are not black and white. Our bodies are always living in the middle, and that's the gray. Women are cyclical beings. We operate on a 28-day cycle, which means that we have ebbs and flows of everything that goes on inside of our body. We have ebbs and flows of hormones. We have ebbs and flows of energy. We have ebbs and flows of hunger and appetite. We have ebbs and flows of rest and sleep. There will be weeks when things feel really dark on the spectrum of black to white, it'll feel really like a dark gray, right? Like you're maybe all like very close to this edge over here, but then the next week you might be very close to an edge over here that's a lot more white in color and a lot more light gray. And the thing is, like, there's not anything wrong with being a dark gray, like being in that middle. There's not anything wrong with being over here in a light gray. All of that is actually supposed to happen. We're supposed to ebb and flow in between the edges of black and white, but we're not actually meant to stay in black, and we're not actually meant to stay in white. We're meant to go back and forth between those two. And that means that there's actually no concrete right answers all of the time. And what we want is we want to develop that body wisdom to be able to understand what our body needs, because that might be a light gray week or it might be a dark gray week. And if we understand and interpret these natural signals from our body as a problem, when it's actually just our body asking for specific things, actions, and maybe a different approach to your health that week, there's nothing wrong when that happens. And when you can see yourself as, oh, I don't have to be mad at my body that I have low energy this week. My workouts feel like garbage. I want to eat all the sugar and I want to seclude myself in my bedroom and just watch Netflix for 8 hours. There's nothing wrong that is a pull from your body. That's your body asking for less noise. It's your body asking for more rest. It's your body asking for more carbohydrates in the form of energy, so it can get ready for the next energetic period that it's preparing to do, right? That's what it's telling you. It's not telling you that you're a lazy piece of crap who just wants to sit in your bedroom and you hate your family, but that's what you're telling yourself. And when you're telling yourself those things, what do you think your body's going to think about this whole situation? I'm wrong. This is bad. And when that happens, now you're involving your nervous system, and your nervous system goes into a deeper state of conserving energy. When you tell your body that it's bad and that our situation is bad, that we're bad, our environment is bad, your body interprets that. It understands that, and it says we should probably conserve our energy even more because it doesn't seem like things are good out there. Your body can hear you talk to it, and your body talks back to you. They just have different languages. Our brain speaks in language and words and thoughts, and our body speaks in emotions and symptoms. And we are in charge of understanding what one says and what the other says and making it make a complete story. And it will tell you a complete story when you learn how to become empowered and understanding your true body signals. So what if we could become a little more curious about this instead of thinking, well, okay, it makes sense, but how do I actually do that? And I'm going to blow your mind that it's not anything dramatic or crazy or ridiculous that you've never done before or haven't heard me say before. Because when you start listening to your body, what will happen is that it'll be a messy, busy Tuesday. And instead of waiting for the perfect condition, you will take the next best action. You maybe had a donut for breakfast. You maybe skipped and had a whole bunch of coffee. Your lunch was at 3 o'clock, so you ate everything in sight. And when you got home for dinner, you decided to have a nourishing, balanced salad that helped you feel much better from the decisions of the day. Instead of saying, F it, there's no point, I'm just going to munch on some popcorn for dinner and then hope that tomorrow is better. And then it's a Wednesday, so that doesn't make sense. So let's wait until Monday, right? What can shift from a salad on a messy Tuesday can actually be you making your next best decision and proving to yourself that you don't need a clean slate. You don't need perfectionism to make your next best choice. When you do this, you're going to prove your perfectionism conditioned body and mind that there's another way. And the way that we do this is we create new beliefs by practicing and proving something over and over again, by taking action on a messy Tuesday. Our conditioned brain and body is going to fight against this and say there's no point. That's a waste of time and energy. But you know that if you can listen to your body and understand what your body needs, which would be a salad on a messy Tuesday, and you do that and you feel better, now you're reconditioning yourself to create a new belief, to create a new thought to have a new way of thinking, believing, and behaving. And that's how we decondition from perfectionism and the diet culture that we've been raised in, and how we create new beliefs. And we can leave that behind and we can move forward. And when you move forward with the thing that you've always been missing, that you wish you always had, that you wish was a lot easier. And that's consistency and trusting yourself in your actions. You've already been reinforcing that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. But when you start on a Messy Tuesday, you show yourself that it's just about the next best decision every single time. You're deconditioning the rules that you've been living by most of your life. And then as you decondition these perfectionism beliefs, you start to create the new beliefs by starting on a Messy Tuesday. And you'll start to feel better because you don't have requirements anymore that things must be a certain way in order for you to take action. You can simply take action. Now, here's where I want to talk about bringing together two very important things, which it's not just all woo-woo and just, like sitting here and meditating and asking what my body needs, which is very important. Love that for you. But we also need some information and some data and some real science. And this comes with education on how your female body responds to food and how to eat in a way that allows our female body to create energy and to create balance. And the thing that creates that is not a diet. And although I hate this because it's been taken over a little on Instagram or social media, and that's great because this is a great way of eating, which is, I'm going to just tell you, it's blood sugar stability. But this isn't a diet. This is just normal eating. I shouldn't say normal eating because that would qualify this as, though we're going down different rabbit holes of rules again. But the blood sugar has been around for the entire time that we've been humans living in bodies. And so if we can understand blood sugar stability, and when we work with our blood sugar, we also work with the hormone insulin. And insulin is one of the foundational hormones that influences our other hormones, including cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Those are the ones we're familiar with when we talk about hormonal balance. But when we can know that women are cyclical beings, right? So our energy, our moods, our hunger and appetite, our sleep, all of that will ebb and flow. And this cycle depends on our hormones to ebb and flow. And our hormones depend on insulin, and insulin depends on what we eat. Now we've gained so much more control over our bodies in an empowered and knowledgeable way. And none of this has to do with food rules. It only has to do with eating in a way that supports your cycle, eating in a way that supports energy creation, and eating in a way that gives your body the nutrients it needs to thrive. When you make a decision that's right for you versus following somebody else's rules, it will start to feel like alignment and like trust. And you can use the science that I'm teaching you with blood sugar stability and also your intuition that lives inside of your body, and you bring them together, and suddenly you have the right answer that you need for yourself always. And nobody gets to take that away from you. You'll always have that. When you give your body that food information from blood sugar stability, whole foods that are just here on this earth in their natural state that want to be consumed, and give your body information that we have access to everything we need to thrive and survive, you begin to feel like a woman in your own skin. You feel energetic. You feel balanced. You feel rested. You fall asleep at night. Your mood is more stable. Your brain fog goes away and your digestion becomes regular. And none of this has to do with any sort of dieting or right or wrong. It has everything to do with understanding how your body feels and what your body's asking for, and trusting yourself through that process. And all of this takes practice and hearing me say it over and over again and trying different things and seeing how your body actually feels with those things. And I want you to start practicing this on a Messy Tuesday, which just by coincidence is when this episode is released. So if you're listening to this and it's a Messy Tuesday, I encourage you just to take the next best action. It doesn't have to be a salad. It could be going for a walk outside. It could be drinking more water today. It could be taking a quick walk after your lunch. It could be doing a little bit of breath work in between meetings, right? There's always something that you can do that would be the next best decision that helps your body feel supported. So here's what I want you to do. Instead of waiting for Monday, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, I want you to make one decision today that honors what your body is asking for. And if you don't know what that is, then I just want you to do one thing. I want you to tune into your body and see if it tells you what it's asking for. You might actually hear an answer. And if you don't hear an answer, don't worry, nothing has gone wrong. The practice here is listening, not by getting an immediate answer. So start practicing your Messy Tuesday because that's when the real transformation and the empowerment and your independent health comes in, and no longer relying on external validation, external right and wrong answers. And if you want to learn more about blood sugar stability without food rules or dieting and learning to live and hear this body wisdom that you already have, I'm hosting the free 5-day immersion on September 15. You can go ahead and head to the show notes to sign up for that. Or you can go to Instagram and DM me the word balance, and I'll send you the link right there. And remember, your body is always trying to tell you something, and it's okay to listen. All right, my friends, I will see you next week.